Hey y'all, it is June the 24th, 2018. I'd like to thank y'all for joining me. I appreciate y'all out there just for being you and thinking your own thoughts. Alright, being individuals out there and wanting to know for sure what's going down. I don't know for sure yet what's going down. I don't think that anybody does as far as Parkland and the shooting, the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas shooting. Right? But certain people of us are taking it upon ourselves to stay glued to the situation and really keep tabs on it every single day. And this helps other people who have to focus on other things, but are still interested in the situation and getting down to the nitty gritty, getting down to the bottom of things. So that being said, only a couple of days ago, and I'll show you evidence of this, it was under development. Some people were talking about, oh man, this freshman here, they're about to release his statements talking about that he saw Nicholas Cruz with the guns and stuff and pulling out a gun out of his duffel bag, or actually what I'd seen him describe as looking like a guitar case. All right, they're going to talk about this kid. Now, pretty much what you're not, for whatever reason, you might be curious about this, they're not going to show you the kid and what he's talking about, but they're going to talk about what the kid talks about, all right? Everything is like a big secret and stuff, so they're going to tell you, they might not even tell you, the kid's name is Chris McKenna. They might not even tell you his name, but they'll say, oh, this freshman kid says he saw Nicholas Cruz and he was loading up his guns, he's about to shoot up the place. All right, so there you go. There's your witness. All right. Meanwhile, I can't even hear the witness saying it. All right. I can't see him saying it. I don't know who's saying this. All right. In most cases, turns out it's Chris McKenna. All right. And that's what people regard as news. All right. They're not going to really tell you anything, but they're going to say, look, there you go. You want a witness? There is a witness. Thing is, unfortunately, I have something of a memory. I know a lot of people do. In which I remembered vaguely what they were talking about as far as getting the gun all loaded up and stuff, pulling up out of a case. That did remind me of a person who I'd seen before talking about exactly that. And a lot of people do remember this from months and months ago. They remember seeing this one video clip, and we're going to actually show, I think, one of the video clips. There's probably a couple of them. We're going to show one of the video clips in which the news is going out of their way to not show you. They're going out of their way to not show you. And this, what they're regarding as news, because they're going to start considering the statement of this young boy, as far as in regards to evidence. What they're regarding as news is about 4 months old. People have seen this 4 months ago. And they're talking about it as news, and they're not going to show you the clips, even though the clips themselves are also 4 months old. And we're going to view one of the clips right here. A lot of y'all might have seen this and maybe even forgot about this, but here's Chris McKenna.
And I had to go upstairs. The first floor bathroom was locked. I then opened the door of the staircase. There the shooter was, reloading his gun, or loading up his gun. What did he say? He said, "You better get out of here. Things are about to get bad." What'd you do? I ran out the door and told the security guard, Coach Vice. And Coach Vice actually ended up dying. What do you think? I was shocked, dude. He's the last person I talked to. And then I heard the gunshots go off. How are you processing that when you saw all that? I'm shocked, very shocked. Is it something that you're still trying to comprehend that you got away? Yeah, I just 10 seconds later I would be gone right now. I wouldn't be here.
Alright, I thought it was very important to show that video. It's going to be hard pressed to find the video. It is kind of hard to find. In fact, I do think that there's other videos. There might be one or two in which you subscribe it. I know I've seen a video a long time ago of this young boy right here describing the case that he pulled out the gun. Well, looked to him to be a guitar case, but it probably was very well a rifle case, which could look like that. All right, so he pulls that out. All right, and I remember that testimony. So you know that there's another video. Either way, the news ain't sharing no kind of videos with you. They're just saying, oh, this young boy who remained unnamed, well, he said this, and therefore, Nick is guilty. Meanwhile, you'll notice if you play that video back, go for it, you'll notice he never says, I saw Nick Cruz opening the bag, getting the gun out, I saw Nick Cruz. He says the shooter. Note how that's unnatural. It is unnatural. If there was a kid at your school and everybody knew he did it, and there's all sort of evidence, you wouldn't say, "Oh, I saw the shooter," like you didn't know who he was. You say, "I saw Nick Cruz pulling out the gun, and he very well told me." He said, "Man, you better get up out of here. I'm Nick Cruz," and I saw his face. He did nothing of the sort. Meanwhile, you'll notice it's a funny little progression that happens. You'll notice in this video and in the other video, if you can find it, he never says Nick Cruz. He always says the shooter. Why? Because the shooter was masked, probably. He didn't know who the shooter was. So he didn't bring it up. Not only that, it's been 4 months later and you haven't heard not one more peep from this young boy. Why? Why have you not heard one more peep from this young boy 4 months later? But now you're hearing the news bringing him up and they're kind of misquoting him at the same time. Alright? Because you'll notice he doesn't say Nick Cruz pulled the gun up out of the bag. He says the shooter pulled the gun up out of the bag. And then when you read about it in articles and things on YouTube, they're going to say, "Oh man, Chris McKenna said he saw Nick Cruz pull the gun up out of the bag." He never actually did. And maybe he did, but he never said that he did. Alright? And somehow this is news. 4 months later, somehow they're considering, they're like, "Oh man, we're gonna disclose this evidence on the public," and oh man, they need to know. It's like, dude, we knew this 4 months ago when we saw it. Y'all are claiming that you have news and stuff, man, and it's incredible. It's amazing. Anyways, we're all up in a tribulation. Alright? And they think that, they're gonna throw things down the memory hole and we're not gonna remember them. Alright? We are gonna remember them. I told you I was going to show you a little bit of evidence as far as people getting consumed with this breaking news, with the little tidbits that we're given to, and we're spoon-fed like little babies. All right, so just a couple of days ago, like I said, Associated Press came out and it's trending on Google. And it says trending, there's a kid, and they released a statement. They actually released a couple of statements. I understand that they released these statements this past Friday to the public. And I wanted to point out that it's funny that they're releasing this statement because we've already heard, there's so many people out there who have seen this exact boy saying this statement. They saw it a long time ago. And we're going to, we showed what he said a long time ago, and the fact is, it's kind of common knowledge for those of the people who looked into it when it all took place. But I did want to show you what it looks like when people parrot these talking points, and they do so because they're good for nothing else. All right, here's all sort of publications, not only the Associated Press, who gets their information from other publications, but the USA Today says Nicholas Cruz told student, "You better get out of here before Parkland attack." You see that? They're talking about the same exact thing. I mean, this only has broke allegedly a couple days ago, even though we seen who they're talking about. His name's Chris McKenna. It's a young boy, and he said, he talked to the shooter, or the shooter talked to him. All right, you see another headline for the New York Daily News. Got Parkland shooting suspect Nicholas Cruz told student, "Get out of here." It's the same story over and over. All right, people trying to perpetrate like they got the breaking news. Meanwhile, they're just saying what everybody else is saying. All right, they're giving you the same news that everybody else gave you. Student, Parkland shooter told him, "Get out of here before opening fire." That's NBC 6 in Miami. All right. WF My News, "You better get out of here," accused Parkland shooter. Look at all these publications, and you know that there's many more. Probably copied and pasted their whole articles and stuff like this. Nicholas Cruz told student, "You better get out of here before blah blah blah." That's CBS of Miami. Right, so they're trying to make it a big deal. They're trying to say, "Oh man, like we got the breaking news. We're gonna tell you what's up." They're telling me about a boy that we seen. All right, with the boy that we just showed, that we've been seeing since almost day one. We've seen him, except you haven't heard a mumbling word from him, not since then, not since those preliminary little interviews. While loading gun at Florida school shooting, suspect told student, "You better get up out of here. It's about to get messy." That's the New York Times. "Better get out of here." Student says Florida school gunman warned him. All right. And you'll notice that the date on this article right here, although that this article is just like all the others, you'll notice that these articles happened on February 16th, 2018. Meanwhile, you got these news publications talking about, oh man, we got the news 2 days ago. All right, we're deep into June. Oh, you brought the news. Apparently, yeah, y'all did. Y'all really know what you're talking about. All right, but these publications, they put this stuff out February the 16th. And for all the publications that did it, this publication did it, Sun Sentinel, February 15th. All right, so this is absolutely not news. All right, but all these people did it, and there's a couple different articles about other things to include gun control and gun violence. All right, but out of all of these articles, out of all these people who are, like I said, good for nothing but parroting other talking points, not one of them. Not any of these reporters, not a single one of them that you're seeing right here on this list, said to themselves, well, okay, this kid literally talked to the shooter. The shooter talked to him. Why is it that he never says that the shooter's name is Nick Cruz? All right? I mean, that's just frustrating. If I had a witness saying these things, I would say, okay, so you saw Nick Cruz, he's loading up the gun. Is that what you're saying? Can you specify? Meanwhile, nobody asked this kid to specify anything. Meanwhile, they're coming 4 months later talking about, oh, check out the news. This kid said something about 4 months ago. It's like, dude, we already knew about this. And he did never, on one occasion, said that he saw Nicholas Cruz loading up any sort of guns and shooting anybody. He said he saw the shooter. Okay, if you're talking to the shooter, chances are you see his face. Did he see his face? Can we see a mumbling word from this witness? Oh, no, you got to keep him a secret. Why? For his safety. Well, who's going to hurt him? You ever think about that? Why in the world would this kid who has not come out at all ever again since 4 months ago, why would he be concerned about his safety? At all. All right? The supposed alleged shooter is in jail and he has no accomplices. So you can feel free as a bird to come out all day just like these 18 some odd other Parkland students. You can have Chris McKenna, who will remain unnamed in a lot of these articles. You could have him come out every single day and talk about what he's seen and what he did not see. No, not at all. Not a mumbling word. We get not a mumbling word. All right. Anyway, so I'll holler at y'all a little bit later. Thank you, and I appreciate y'all, man, out there, man. Leave your comments about how you probably don't believe what the hell we're seeing right here. All right, you probably can't even believe it. So holler at me about it, and I'll holler at y'all. Thank you, and I appreciate you. It's June 24th, 2018.